Call to order. Do you want to do the roll call, Mr.
Of course.
Jarretts?
Gotta be.
Mr. Pollock,
Gotta do one.
Oh. I'm out of order.
Silence.
Gotcha.
Oh, call to order. A moment of silence and please keep the victims in Texas in your thoughts and prayers.
Pledge of allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda 4.1, consider approving the agenda. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those no. Oh, we got to go back to roll call.
okay, roll call. Mr. Pollock,
Here.
Mr. Gifford,
Here.
Ms. Foy,
Here.
Mr. Posick,
Here.
and Mr. Lake is not here. And the Public Works Director is here. That's it.
4.1, consider approving the agenda. All those in favor say aye. 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 All those opposed say no. It's approved. Item 5.1, consider approving the minutes from May 5th, meeting Park and Recreation. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Presentations, 6.1, EAC member Sheila Sullivan Feeney will provide status update regarding yoga and fitness at Drexel Lodge Park.
Good evening, Aaron. Sheila Sullivan, PD, 120 Beechwood Road, Newtown Square, PA. Exciting, Newtown Township Parks and Recreation is hosting its free sizzling summer fitness in the park series every Tuesday night, 6:15 to 7:15 at Drexel Lodge Park. It's free. And what's incredible is we have Alex Young and Yanni from Forever Young Fitness and Nutrition. Now, these are professional coaches and nutrition coaches and trainers who are giving 3 hours a week of community time to our community residents. And this is going to be a boot camp for those who want that, or a beginner level. So we'll have all levels of fitness are welcome. He's really going to be focusing on cardio, exercise, conditioning, and it's really a great opportunity for the community for 11 weeks during the summer. So that's every Tuesday night from June 14th to August 23rd. And with, I need help from, I did send every one of you the flyers. Were any of you able to send them out and email that to your friends and share the information?
Yeah, I posted on a couple social media, Facebook groups.
Good, all right. And I do need help getting some more flyers out there. So I did ask you guys, if I didn't hear back from anyone, if you could let me know who can, because I definitely need help. I've put up a lot already, and what happens is some of the locations, the manager approves it, and then the next day manager comes in and takes it down. So there's, even though I get written permission or whatever, it changes quickly. I did ask Steve Bradley if the township could boost that on Facebook, where you basically pay extra to get it boosted, and it would help share the information. And maybe George, if you could, I think it's like $20 or something, if we could allow that from a budgetary item, but
I think we'll have to find out.
yeah, it's about a $20 cost to boost that. And it's through the Facebook. Your PR person should be able to help with that, the township. I mean, if you don't need to call her to ask her to do, because you have to talk with her per hour too. So if you just do it for $20, you'll be able to get it. Great news is I did get the lawn signs that Through Vegas is printing. And George, I have the bill. That was $100 for the 2 signs. And they're ready. They'll go up next week. And I also really want to be helpful if we can, with Forever Young Fitness. They're donating 33 hours of professional time to the community. So I really want, if you can.
I'm sorry, Sheila, so those signs are going to go up At Drexel Lodge.
Drexel
Park,
Lodge Park.
and,
They're gonna go up Wednesday before, it'll go up the Wednesday, the week before the class. And the reason being is Wade and George approved all the information. We didn't want to put the dates down there. We just called it the summer series, then we have a QR code. And to put the date in there too would just be, I have a full information, so we want to make sure it begins at, but the flyers will be in the window, and again, we're sharing them everywhere. It's just another talking point that we've added, and it's really, thank you to George for paying for that. That was $100 out of his budget, and we really appreciate it. Also, if I can, from Steve Bradley, if I can, I need more flyers for the farmer's market. So should I go through you or through Rose for those? Yeah, they're the flyers I asked for last week, but I know Rose was busy and you were busy, so whoever can get those to me.
How many?
There was like 50 on yellow paper. And I did send Steve Bradley the information. Can you make sure, George, that this flyer goes into our summer Newtown Township magazine, if possible, please? For the classes. But your deadline, you said was June 2nd or 3rd?
I have all that stuff.
Yep, okay, that's great. And so let me see. That
When
would
is the
be
deadline? I thought
tomorrow
it was
or
Yeah, June 3rd.
Tomorrow, okay.
the deadline is, okay. Hold on, what else is that? Oh, yes, and I'm also going to send you a text copy of it so you can text your friends, if you can share that as well. The way it works is we're going to share the information is Leonard is going to share it on Sunday night. And we're hoping that the township, whoever that is, in whatever format, George and those agree to, will share it on Friday. So that I can then share it to all those other community groups. Leonard will share it out on Sunday night, and then I'll send it again on Monday. So if the township sends it on Friday, Leonard and I will hit it hard over the weekend. Friday,
Tomorrow.
yeah, well, Friday, beginning of the week of the class, so actually not till June 9th or 10th, whatever that is. All right, so we're all good with that, promoting anything we can do, and if the township supervisors can even mention it, it's a big thing, so,
Have you contacted Richie now?
yes, Rich, Amber, and from Marple Newtown Recreation Service has been phenomenal. They've been sharing the information for me, and Amber's going to continue to share it weekly. And we're working in support. We support each other for everything. All right, so the next thing we've got going is Zoombini. So this is fabulous. I've got it set up, and I did talk with Rich. This is on Wednesday, July 20th, from 5:15 to 6:15. I do have the flyers ready, and I will also ask George if that can go into the township magazine. When is the drop date for the magazine? Oh, then forget about it. Okay, then it won't go into that if you're dropping that too late. All right. What we did is instead of having multiple Zoombini free classes, I got Zoombini, the coordinator, to go through Marple Newtown Recreation Services. So what we'll do is have paid Zoombini classes at Brookside during the day, and they are offered through the Marple Newtown Recreation Services. So we're giving one free class through Drexel Lodge on July 20th from 5:15 to 6:15, but then everything else will go through Marple Newtown Recreation Services. And it's a great way so we can support them and coordinate with them. And it's a really good thing.
Sheila, if you have like a flyer or a picture, I can post that in like the Marple Mom groups and
Yes.
things, so.
Great. I'll send that off as well, and I will also ask everyone to share that. And again, for the Tuesday nights, I do need help. Anyone, especially if we're going to have a big crowd, I might need a second person because we're going to have to break down those crowds into two different groups. Also now, starting in late summer to early fall, we're going to start the Yoga in the Park series. So we want to make sure our exercise class from the summer is nearly done. And then we'll start our Yoga in the Park series. And this will be from the new facility that's Yoga in the Circle. It's the Newtown Township business that's in St. Albans Circle. It's the same group as last time, and they're providing us with free yoga classes. And when will be the next deadline for the magazine? Because I want to make that cut.
I would have to get back.
Yeah. Right, so I would like to get into that magazine for this timing wise, and that would be great.
I don't think that next magazine hits
Comes out till
mailboxes
fall.
until October.
Oh, okay. Oh, so if by chance I could talk with her tomorrow and get something to you in writing, is tomorrow too late? And do you already have enough copy that you're ready filled? Yeah, okay. I've asked them to give me before this, but they were delayed or whatever. So, and I really need the dates to be tied down because I got to go through Rich for everything too. And so I think that is it, guys. But actually, we have a really fun, full summer agenda. It's actually really good, and looking forward to the class. I think it's going to be fabulous.
That's awesome. Thanks, Sheila.
Yeah, thank you, Sheila. Item 7.1, Public Works Update.
So just a few things. Just for your information, during the month of May, Public Works had 265 man hours worth of work in the park system. That's down a little. We did a lot of hours in April because a lot of that was getting ready, getting the parks ready and the mulch and all that kind of stuff. But the 265, that's a lot of hours to be spending in there. And again, we visit every park and every trail 3 times a week during the season, during the spring, during the summer, early part of fall. We inspect everything. We pick up the trash, et cetera. So there's presence in there pretty consistently throughout the course of the season. Regarding the shades at Brookside Park, there's been a delay. We found out that the person we were dealing with is no longer with them, and the order did not successfully get through. So I'm working with the new person. They already have it. They think that they can do a slightly quicker turnaround. So I have the direction from you as well as from the Board of Supervisors. So as soon as I get all that tied down, I'll get that order in and we'll get that stuff in. So there's a delay in it, but it's going to happen, and they're just adjusting it. The staff has been working on preparing for building the bocce ball court. We have reviewed, I saw that there had been a updated proposed layout from Conan, from Delmont Utilities. I think we're going to stick with the one that we had talked about, the layout that they had suggested. I understand why they did. I don't think it's going to work well over there. Again, I understand their concept of why they'd suggested that, but I think we're going to we're going to stick with the one that we had anticipated. But we'll work with you, Wade, as we do it. We're just finalizing. We've got the materials list and all that. The staff went and visited over at Marple. One of my staff actually participates in some of those leagues, so he's very familiar with it, and I've got him working kind of quarterbacking with it. So the last thing,
I'm sorry, the clay, there was a company, Marple's using a company over in New Jersey. I think it's kind of hard to get this certain kind of clay that goes on top. And they use some company, I think they did research. You might want to contact them and see if they're still using them. I think they did their homework to try and get it.
Yeah, they were, the staff were talking to the folks over at Marple about it, and they were actually talking with people who run leagues in other locations, not just even in Marple. And I know they were talking about the clay and where to get the clay and those kind of things. So I think we've got a pretty good handle on it.
Okay.
The goal is still that by the fall, we would have that installed, and we're still on track for that. The last thing, if you recall, I was concerned that we needed a lot of lead time for the basketball court work over here, because I knew the company that we had made the arrangements with to do all the prep work, and there's a bit of prep work to get it ready, gets booked this time of year, and they are in fact booked this time of year.
Okay.
So they wouldn't be able to get out here probably till about August or September.
Okay.
So I think we would be looking at doing if we were going to do that painting job with the students, I think we'd be looking at doing it probably in September.
All right.
And I'm getting the updated pricing on all the materials.
Okay.
And that was, I should have had that by now. But as soon as I get it, I'll forward it along. That is what I've got from the Public Works end.
All right, I'll reach out to Karen Can and let her know that she's had some issues with her knees recently, so it might work out well. Anyway, then.
Yeah, I was concerned, we couldn't set them up until we had a date from her. And then I know at the last meeting, she had said, oh, maybe June, and I'm like, oh, don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know if we could turn it around that fast.
But
I
think
wish we could.
This might work out better.
That's during,
Good.
that's during the school year, so the kids will be back from summer or whatever, so maybe that's the best.
That's what
Yeah,
she
and
said.
I don't want the job rushed. We've waited long enough to get this thing done. I
Right.
want to make sure the court is prepared correctly, and that they're ready to go.
Thanks, George. Thanks for everything you do and your guys. New business, 8.1, discussion and possible action regarding a wiffle ball tournament at Drexel Lodge Park. So I went and visited Nell today. So they put me in contact with the guy who operates, I guess, the land there, or the buildings. I don't know. I can't even remember his name. I want to reach out to him and say, yeah, I did some research. It's a lot. And for just us five in our little group to try and pull something together big is going to be a difficult thing to do. So the only thing I can think of is trying to pull other resources, and we could just kind of assist in any way that we can. Now, they have amazing facilities. If they would let us use them, if they could raise funds, it could go to their facility as well. We could just do an assist because
What facility is this?
Nell, the Little League right here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because
there's
our-
the NSPL is here and then
Newtown.
Nell is over here. Nell is the larger of all the baseball
Is that
fields.
Newtown Edgemont?
Yeah,
Little League?
Little League.
Yeah. And maybe Edgemont Recreation Committee, I don't even know if they have one in Marple. If we could pull some other recreation committees together and Richie now, we might be able to get enough people to support a tournament, because you have, I think you want to have 20, 30 games to build up to something. You want to have a prize, so there's going to be some fundraising involved. So I don't know if anyone else had a chance to do any research on wiffle ball and what your thoughts are.
Sounds like a great idea. I think Marple Civic Youth did a dodgeball or no kickball tournament not too long ago at the St. Anne Field in Broomall. So that sounded like that was successful. So there'd probably be also interest in wiffle ball.
I think, I don't even know what age group. So Steve Bradley is the one who, mentioned after a meeting about wiffle ball tournament. And I did research. I don't know if you guys did, but there's a lot of interest in wiffle ball today, more than I would have ever expected.
Now, this would be outside of the time that baseball is active. So this would be like post-baseball season. Is that
That's what we'd have to figure out all of this out. Now, I think, might want to take the lead in trying to figure
Okay.
that out, because I don't know that we can pull it off at Drexel Lodge Park. We could put some lines on the field and we might get 10 teams. I don't know if that's worth it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, were we thinking like multiple weeks or this all in one day kind of thing? Or
I don't know. How do they normally run, Steve? Do you know?
I played it just the one day,
The one,
I think,
couple hours.
I think you'd have better attendance if it was a day.
just one day
Yeah.
thing.
okay.
And that's most of the ones I looked at were one day as well. There's one in Wayne or Devon or somewhere fairly close coming up. And I don't know how many teams they have, but I mean, do you think that we should do it ourselves, or do you think we should try and pull
You know, I
together.
think we should pull in
Yeah, we need some
Edgemont,
experience.
Marple, Nell, and SPL, whoever wants to help.
Okay. Yeah, we just don't have, I don't think that we have the resources and
Right, I'm not,
the draw.
I'm not that familiar with football.
We were
I mean,
counting on
you
to
know what
pick
it
up.
is, but
You'd have a better turnout too if it was, you know, advertised to all the local, not just Newtown.
And it's just an amazing facility. No, really, just, have you been up there, Bill?
I have.
It's amazing, it's just, I drove through today, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. My kids played there, but you know, it's been a while.
this is up Bishop Hollow.
Yeah, right here,
Right
yeah.
up the hill.
Yeah, yeah, I drive past it on Saturdays when they're all out playing.
Oh.
It's like, there's a lot of action.
So there, and then we might be able to get to the younger age group, because I think a lot of the tournaments I'm looking at are older, 17 to 30s, 50s, whatever. Now involved, we would have reach to younger children.
That'd be great.
Sounds fun.
All right, so I'll reach out to all those people. I'll talk to this guy first and make sure he's on board with it. If he's not, I don't think feasible.
Yeah, if Nell's not on board, I don't think there's a point to reach out to all the other.
I mean, could you do a smaller tournament that we could just handle it, you know, either our own Gable Field or Brookside Park and just have it a much smaller, you know, very local tournament and try it that way?
We could do that. I think we would have to wait till October
Mhm.
because of school. You know, we have better access to the kids when they're in school.
Well, is it for the kids or for adults?
If-
Although, I don't know, at this point, I mean, it's June, right? So
Right.
Probably fall would be good.
Yeah, by the time we can plan anything, it's gonna be fall. Yeah, which
Yeah.
Well, if you did it through the school, the coaches might, other teams. That small tournament.
Yeah.
For me, it'd be each of the grade schools gets a team.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering, how do we
Well, is it-
develop teams?
I mean, would this be, I'm thinking like teenagers, 20s,
Yes.
30s, 40s, 50s. I wasn't necessarily thinking elementary. Steve, I don't know if that's what you were thinking. Yeah, because
Yeah,
we were,
mostly it's the teenagers and young adults
Young
that are
adults.
doing it, yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think that would,
20 to 25-year-olds.
I think that would be
Yeah.
the
Men
demo.
and women.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think that would be the demographic because, and we were trying to get it like a teen, right? Like a,
Yes, we were
like
getting,
youth, like
going-
this would, I think, attract some.
because we were going for teenagers. That's why this was like, okay, this fits. That's why Steve came over and said, you know, if you're looking for teens and young adults, this is a good thing to do. So,
I think if you go for anyone younger than teens, I don't know if it'll be
Yeah, I don't
as
think there's
successful of an event. Yeah, I think you gotta.
You know, I didn't play wiffle ball until I was a teenager, really, you know, I mean, I guess 12 years old or something. But
Oh. Question, but what is wiffle ball? Is it baseball with a wiffle?
It's a plastic
Yeah,
bat.
Yeah,
And
And
a
it's like a
wiffle
white plastic.
It's
yeah,
like
wiffle
baseball,
ball.
Otherwise, it's
but
playing baseball.
the ball doesn't go as far.
Baseball
doesn't-
rules.
You can catch it with a bare hand.
Yeah, okay.
yes, pretty much baseball rules, but
Yeah.
they do actually have some odd rules where they're putting lines on the field. It depends on how many players you have on your team. So some fields have lines and it's single, double, triple, home run. The fence would be the home run. So,
Sounds
I've never
like, it
played
sounds like Wade's gonna be team captain. You might not be able to help that day. You'll be
Never
winning the
played.
tournament.
but it's a pretty neat sport. It's a hollow ball. It's very light. It has.
Oh, yeah, I
wiffles.
know what a wiffle ball
Oh.
is.
And then the bat is a real thin.
Yeah,
with
Plastic.
yellow, yeah.
Well, if it doesn't work out with Nelly, I think we could probably do smaller. I mean, there might be, I think there would be interest.
And
Yeah, if it
if
was a
we
book
should
side
be able to pull something together because Rich Enow will help us.
Absolutely. I think he's mentioned wiffle ball before, so he may have, you know, a handle on local groups that might field a team for
I
something.
did talk to him about it and he was excited.
Good.
So, all right. All right, I'll send this guy an email tonight, and hopefully hear back. I'll send something out with the correspondence, or whatever I get back. Yeah, we get a supervisor's team, right? Against all the other committees. There's a tournament right there.
That's a great idea. I think it'll be fun.
All right, so item 8.2, discussion and possible action regarding the athletic day at Truxell Lodge Park. So last year I went to Marple had, it was like elementary school age kids. It was an athletic day. They were doing races, and it wasn't like, a three-legged race and that kind of, it was actual athletic 50-yard dash, people with bullhorns, shooting basketballs, all sorts of stuff. And it was really exciting, and the kids were really into it. Going back to the age group that you were just talking about, that kind of fits them more. I don't know whether that's, is that too much on our plate now to do both of those things? That's something I would envision being done during the summer. And if we did, could we just get a hold of Marple and mimic everything they're doing? I mean, most of the equipment they needed were cones, and George has got cones. I saw them. There's a lot of them. So I don't know. What's anybody think?
What's the demographic, like elementary, middle school?
That's what was there. Yeah.
Now, what park would we think, Drexel Lodge? I was thinking, you mentioned basketball.
Yeah, I think that they were shooting basketballs into something.
Oh, okay, like a
it was
barrel or something.
it was more athletic. It wasn't like, you'd have at a family function where you have three-legged
Is
races.
it teams of kids or like?
It was mostly individual from what I
Individual.
saw, yeah. So, I was going to ask Peter to take charge of that and contact Marple and see if they would be willing to just let us mimic them. Because then it's less work on us, and why reinvent the wheel when it's already working?
When you say mimic.
Just copy. Just copy whatever they.
Get their outline and.
Do the same exact thing. Yeah,
I mean, get them.
give us your
involved.
equipment list, give us everything we want.
Okay, so they actually have equipment that would be needed.
It was mostly cones.
Okay,
There was cones everywhere and bullhorns. They had bullhorns and cones. That's what I remember the most about equipment.
fine. So maybe their agenda, their plans.
Exactly, yeah. Whatever races, whatever their events
Is it,
were.
excuse my ignorance, is it like a participation? Is there like a winner? Are you keeping score?
I couldn't figure that out, whether,
Where was it held?
at Ann Park.
In Park. Okay. Just only because nobody can, if there's anybody watching.
That
they
was a
can't hear.
wonderful organization put on by the Marple Civic Organization, and that's a private organization. It's not part of Marple Recreation. And they're a group that have gotten together, and they're the ones who've done the flower plants in their township. They have done Santa things. So it's a civic group, but reach out to them. The Reynolds family is very active involved in that.
Sheila, is it Marple Civic Youth? Is that the group?
No, Marple Civic Association.
Okay.
And they deal with a variety of things. The Reynolds family from Delco Steaks, they're one of the chairs as well. But they did a lot of those organizations trying to build community within their township. And they're also part of Splash, the swim club.
So, yeah, I don't think there was a lot of funds required for it as well. So, if there is something nominal, maybe we could just use the township, whatever the fund is, if you have, whatever you have left for Parks and Recreation for, if there is anything left. And if not, I could probably just hit one business and get But do you think that's something that we should?
Did they have like food or anything like that there?
I don't think so. They had water, or like Gatorade or something.
Okay.
There were.
Pretzels.
Water ice,
Yeah.
water ice and
Yeah.
pretzels.
Water ice.
And how long did it last?
I think it was like a 3-hour event.
Okay.
I did get down and talk to a couple of people. They're very pleasant and they seem very helpful, and I think that they would probably be more than willing to help us,
Yeah, I think so.
especially if they're Reynolds. I mean, they're
I
good
think so.
people.
Yeah.
Do you think we should try that, or
When are you shooting for, Wade? What month?
so this would have, should probably be July. I mean, we're already in June, so this is a lot. Right? August.
Know more about it when you contact the already done.
So maybe like an early Saturday morning before it gets too
Yeah,
hot,
yeah,
thinking, okay.
And there is shade at Drexel Lodge and locations. We could use the lower field. It might be shadier down there in the morning.
Well, what's the like the number of kids involved, do you think that would?
I think there might have been 100 people there. Not just kids, but 100 people there.
Okay.
It was a pretty good crowd.
Probably parents would bring their kid.
Yes, there were people sitting on the hills and, yeah,
And when did this occur?
I think it was July last year,
Okay, last
before any of this, the COVID spikes. It was in between all of that stuff, so.
Why don't we see what they can do to help before?
All right, then I guess we could just vote on in July to do it in August. That's okay, right?
Something like that.
Okay.
I know in the past we've said August is a lot of people away, but then maybe not.
Yeah, kids are home, yeah. Some kids are gonna be home.
Sure.
They won't be in school.
Right.
And they'll be looking for something to do because
Looking
they're
for
getting bored.
something to do, Right.
I guess we're thinking of Saturday morning. But
Yep, sounds good.
then I think we covered all of our age groups.
Yeah,
We covered all us old people with the concert and the younger kids, it's the
Zumbini.
beanies. Item 8.3, discussion and possible action on a family fun day to replace September concert at Drexel Lodge, October 1st. So this would be in conjunction with the Railroad Museum. I spoke with John Nawn and George, who are both part of the Railroad Museum, and they're on board with it for an October 1st celebration. I got the band, The Plants, talked to them. They're available for October 1st, so we could have the young kids band there. They'll do it one set or two set. It's $1,200 for the first set and $1,600 for two sets. So it's an additional $400. They bring in the sound man. So it's a little cheaper than our concerts. And then one of the other things that they're gonna do, I think Saturday, bring in a sit on top of Railroad that we could possibly do again at this event in October. And I think that was like $300 charge. So we're just under $2,000 for those two things. Doing anything more, fire. I have a friend who said she would do face painting. She's good at it. I don't know. Have to check with the health department or what. We'll have to figure all that out.
Do we have any kiddie train ride?
That's what this is. It's an actual
that's-
train that,
Yeah, there's a little children's train that runs back and forth for,
Is it on rails or?
Mhm.
they sit on top of it.
Oh, yeah,
And they set that up on the field.
I'll bet.
yeah, on the upper soccer field.
Okay,
It'll be close to the Railroad Museum.
that sounds like fun.
And the Railroad Museum will be open. It's their last day. It's a big event for them. It should be, a big event for us. Hopefully combined, we can create a bigger draw and get some attention over there as well, because, it's an amazing resource that we should try and help as much as we can.
Well, and it's nice that, I mean, the Railroad Museum is going to have their community festival anyway. They do it every year, the first Saturday in October. And if your event can dovetail with it, then the two work together, and it's great.
As far as petting zoo goes, they were, a lot of them are booked. I think there's one left that it's like $400. They would do an hour and a half petting zoo, but it would have to be from like 10:30 in the morning to 12. They have another place to go after. I think that was $400.
Would it be possible to combine athletic day and family fun day? Have foot races, stuff like that, depending on what they did at Marble.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could discuss it further in July, because the October 1st, we're going to be working on for a couple more months here. Family Fun Day. So we don't need to really make a decision. I'm going to start fundraising right away for this, whatever we get. Yeah, can I send the money to the township to hold?
Let me check tomorrow with Rich Lafayette,
Okay.
and I will get back to you.
And if not, with the Railroad Museum, would that be an option for us to send the funds to them?
Possibly. Let me start with Rich.
Okay, I just
And,
want to make sure the accounting's done right.
Right. right.
All right.
Railroad Museum budget, they help to support it.
No, I think
Family fun day.
I think they already have stuff planned for the.
Right, so like the little train that would happen in October, the Railroad Museum pays for that. They pay for all the other stuff that's going on for the community festival. And this, this would just be adding on to it if, that's what Park and Rec
Other
wanted
than
to
the
do.
little train, what goes on? What's the family fun festival?
Well,
What's there?
that's not what they call it. That's what I made up.
No, but what do they?
It's
have
a
other than-
community festival. At one time, although I don't think the last couple of years they've had vendors, but they used to have vendors all in the train yard. They would have antique cars come. They would have the little train running back and forth. They would sell food, those kind of things.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, that time of the year. So it's a fall festival.
It's a fall festival. It's a railroad festival. Now, it has become much more meager in the last few years. There are not many people that are volunteering with it at this point, so it's,
Hopefully we can turn that around.
Yeah. I think having the concert the same day as the Railroads Festival sounds great. And if they have their train set up, that's good. Were you thinking petting zoo on top of that, or?
I was, I mean, I'm just.
I love it. I think it's great. If the
It's very
funding,
popular today.
if the funding's
petting
there,
zoo.
I think it's fabulous, but,
what about pony rides?
And that was an option as well. Now, I don't know if the township wants to have ponies traveling through there and doing dumps. But they just spend a lot of money getting rid of geese.
yeah.
Did they get rid of the geese?
I have not seen any geese there in the last 3 weeks.
Great. Great.
Yeah, they're all down in Greer Park. I see them,
Yeah,
they're
they're
walking across Cali Road. They're all like with the little ones following.
Wade, you said that the petting zoo is booking up pretty quickly. Do you know what their down deposit would be, or?
I don't know that there would be a deposit required. I'm still waiting for one person to get back to me. They put in their websites, sometimes it's difficult for us to get back to you, so expect a while. So that was a smaller.
If there's not a deposit, is there an issue with,
Commitment.
yeah,
Will they really show up? Right, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like if they're booking up and we're thinking maybe we would use them for October 1st to throw their name in the hat.
As soon as I hear anything, I will let the township know, and what I want to do is contact the health department. Not that I want to talk to the health department, but we have to, so I'm gonna call them up and say, we were thinking about having a petting zoo and possibly food at the same event. It'll be separated by 200 feet. Is there any problem?
You know, Wade, before you call the health department, why don't you talk to Heather
Okay,
in the code department
okay.
and see what you have to ask the health department about?
Okay.
Even if the petting zoo didn't work out, I think having the plants to do 2 sets and partner with the Railroad Fall Festival, I think it's gonna draw a crowd.
And if we could do the face painting and if we have someone that does balloons and can do it for,
Yeah, it could be an advertising, marketing opportunity for a local.
some of the stuff's cheap, it's not expensive to do. So if we just add a couple little things, and then we would need food there as well, because it's going to be a 3-hour
Day
event.
event. Mhm.
Oh, snacky.
It could even be like
Junk food.
bags of pretzels and
I mean,
potato chips
potato chips, pretzels.
and water. Water.
How to do it.
Is there any public comment on this topic?
Sheila.
Instead of, you're saying the petting zoo, since you're working with the train museum, you're trying to get a family organization and do the music together, maybe try using the same funds that you would for the petting zoo. And there's these little samples of buildings, like of trains and things that would be more in line with the theme, and kind of develop the theme a little bit more in terms of interaction. There's little, did you ever see those kits? They're like $1 kit. So you could assemble, a little child could be able to assemble or make a little train. And there's these little plastic pieces that you basically put together. So kind of have one theme, because you've got a lot of themes, and I think it'd be better to, because, having this,
Narrow it
having
down.
that, first of all, you're in a park. The kids don't need to be entertained 24/7. You're giving them a great opportunity to be in the park, to use the train museum, which really should be the draw. I mean, there's a phenomenal history there. That should be the kind of focus. And then allow everything else to kind of work around that with your music. And because otherwise, if you're trying to please everything, it's just is too much, and you're not going to get the core people that you want to.
Thank you.
We go to the that's toy store there in Bromall at Nicholas.
Oh,
yeah,
Nicholas
They
Trains.
have trains, lots of
Yeah.
maybe little kits like that.
Sheila, you had to rein us in.
Also, St. Albans Episcopal Church has a train club, so maybe you could reach out to them and kind of bring them in, because they have some portable things that might be able to develop your theme a little bit more.
So Wade, following up with what Sheila said, John Nolan is actually involved with the St. Albans Railroad Train Club.
All right.
So if you talk to him again, he can probably,
That was a train guy, huh?
yeah.
That's together. All right, that's a good idea. Then that was another thing, giveaway bags. So I was going to contact Jake Olympi, see if he would, in between the 2 sets, lead the audience in a zoo concert of some kind, or some kind of concert that we give them some kind of an instrument or something.
Juice harp. Boing.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Railroad themed
Yeah,
music.
yes, that's a good idea, yeah. And then, whoever this.
City of New Orleans.
Yeah, there we go.
It's too bad that Goodman died.
Oh.
Got him. My wife is related to
Is he real? Is
it.
she?
Yeah.
Wow.
She was his cousin.
About that.
Colonel Guthrie.
Yeah. You might scare the kids. All right, railroad song. So I was gonna ask Jake Olympia if he might be able to do that. Is he the junior high or he's the middle school band director, correct? Jake, or is he senior high? I was gonna ask.
Yeah, I thought he was high school because we've talked about
Oh,
him before.
Okay,
I think I remember he was a high school music.
so I think I'm instead reach out to the middle school guy, just because he might be more in tune with the age group that we're targeting.
That my daughter goes to Culbertson and they have a music teacher too for elementary school. So
Really?
I wonder if, I think
Oh.
that would be the
Okay, I
better
didn't know
match.
that.
Yeah.
All right.
Mr. Dragonetti is the music
Ah,
teacher
okay.
at Culbertson.
He taught my kids, yeah. Okay.
They're the ones that had the store in St. Albans Circle. Same thing.
Nice people, yeah. So is there anything else anybody thinks we should do, or? Right, so old business. 9.1, review of the concert. So I think that there was about 100 people there in total, coming and going. Turned out to be a great event. George and his crew set up the tarp behind us. And what's the name of the daycare over here on the
Goddard
the
School.
Goddard School did the letters. I cut out 40-inch
They look great.
cardboard letters
They look
and
great.
took yarn. They put the yarn, they really did a nice job. And because of the rain, we didn't know what to do with them. So Jonathan and a friend of ours, Ginny and myself, we hung them up on there so that they were exposed and it really looked nice. Turned out to be a pretty good show.
It was a great day. Thank you for all of the organization.
Thanks.
That was
Yeah.
amazing. It was
In
really
spite of
fun.
in spite of the weather.
Yeah, the weather and other obstacles, but thanks, Wade. It's really great.
Thank you. And thanks to Steve he helped with all the posters and getting it out on Facebook and the library and George's guys. I mean, we wouldn't be able to do any of the stuff we do without George. It's amazing. The tarp went up. And I think the sound man was like, you know, he was like, I can't even show up. I'm not gonna. I said, well, they put a tarp up. I took a picture of it and sent it to him. He says, I'll be there. Not a problem. And he was really happy.
It was dry under the
Yeah.
pavilion.
Yeah. And the tables were set up perfectly.
Social distance, yeah. it's
Yeah, when I
great.
first looked at them, I didn't know we're using the best space here, but turned out to be, there were people dancing and.
Great.
And so I took the concert signs after the concert was over. I took them all down and one side is blank. I cut them in half. I rounded the corners and I took them over to the Academy daycare school by Media Line and 252. I can't remember the name of that school.
Journey Academy or something.
Something like that, yeah. So they are actually painting railroad scenes on the blanks. And we're gonna hang them at the Railroad Museum on Saturday for the opening.
Okay.
So we recycled and we didn't have to spend any money because signs are there. They're using paint. I checked the weather. We'll be fine for a week if we leave them out for a week. So,
Very resourceful.
and then we're getting kids to the Railroad Museum. We're getting kids to the park. I sent them information about the Railroad Museum. But I'd want to go see my artwork, I think,
That's this Saturday.
yeah. Anybody else have anything or items for the next agenda? We want to add anything?
I think if we're returning to today's new business, you know, if we're gonna do the August athletic day, then repeat.
It doesn't look like much, but it's a
the
lot
new-
of work.
The new business, yeah.
And we'll consider maybe combining those two events.
I, if it might be too much to do the athletic day and the park and the train all at once.
Yeah, I think the kids will be sweaty afterwards.
I think athletic day should be a morning event by
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah, that'd be good in the summer.
They go home, take a shower. When we were kids, we didn't, right? But yeah, I don't know whether it will be too much. And I just think in October, maybe it wouldn't be as hot, but I don't know. It kind of lends itself to a hot day. They were all running around. It was
Yeah.
sunny and
Yeah, I'm just thinking of some, in August, the kids are starting to like get bored and what are we gonna do? And give them something to look forward to.
right. And we do have enough places to advertise to help pull people in, kids. Richie now, really good asset. And in talking with these daycares that I've been to, they want us to send information to them now about our events. They have communication boards, so I'm going to start reaching out to all of them, sending them all of our information.
Right,
Because they're going to bring families in, hopefully.
that'd be good. No, the daycares in Newtown Township or Marple as well?
I was just going to use the ones in Newtown as much as possible, because I think that's what Steve wants us. He wants us to use, to go out and expand and use other schools, not just the public schools.
Right. Okay.
So I was going to actually contact the Episcopal Academy about doing something art-wise, playing off of the railroad signs, maybe have an art in the park kind of day where we put their work up for a week, let it get displayed. Just try and bring the,
I wonder if you could piggyback Art in the Park with the basketball court painting in September, because it'll be fall and school will have started, and just to maybe bring more people.
it'll certainly help for advertising purposes.
Just because there's a lot
Right.
of events.
Oh, no, I'm talking next year.
Oh,
I'm not
okay,
talking this
okay.
year. No,
Right.
no. Yeah, next spring, early spring. And it'll give them time, because they have to have time to do playing, because I want to use older grades. The daycares, they're fine. You give them a bag of yarn, something to do, they're happy. But the other ones that, they have lesson plans, they have state requirements, and God bless them for being teachers today. So you have to give them enough time. So we can put on the agenda in the fall and discuss during the fall months of how we might be able to do something. So one thing I thought of is using fishing line. You can put the fishing line through those yard signs. They're very light and they have holes in them. Just hang them that way temporarily. That might not be an option because of safety reasons, but
Or even like that fine that we used.
oh yeah.
And that's more visible than
Right.
fishing line.
And less dangerous, yeah. Taking. So there, I guess, we'll just keep everything the same on the agenda. And
Okay.
any public comment?
An item for your next agenda will be, you mentioned Newbie Park, so EAC will have some information, and we did talk with the Shade Tree to bring them in, so maybe add that to your agenda items.
Yes, we're going to add a cleanup at Newbie Park for October.
A cleanup, planting, or whatever, and I did ask the Shade Tree to kind of look at that and give you their input.
I contacted them.
Great.
She's,
I did check
she's going
with
to
Trish.
meet me
Great.
at Newbie.
Good. Yeah.
And then I'm going to speak at your meeting on Monday night.
Perfect. Okay, great.
To put a
And
formal request.
So this is Shiloh Sullivan Vitti, 120 Beechwood Road, Newtown Square, PA. Let's kind of going on with Drexel, sorry, Greer Park? Because a lot of my neighbors and residents are asking us what is going on. We know that, the discussion's happening, things are supposedly happening. Is there anything that we can let the public know in terms of what's an update for Greer Park in terms of,
My understanding is that they are going to hire someone to implement the master plan, do the design
Right.
portion of the master plan, and they've, I believe, voted on that.
yes, Dan Tech
recently.
was elected. I saw
So
that in the
I
minutes.
assume that they're in the process of hiring someone to do that work.
So when do you think that will begin?
Soon, I hope.
Because I know we originally heard like a June deadline and then shovels would be in the ground, but is it September? Are we talking October, anything? Just because people are asking and I'd like to have an
Will the
update.
park be closed off for a little while or just a section of it or?
I would assume that at least half of it would have to be closed off because all that construction's going on the stream side.
Yeah.
Steve did talk about keeping the playground open as much as he
We
could.
could, right. So no concrete plans or dates or when things are actually beginning?
I would assume that something's going to happen this summer, that someone will be starting design work this summer sometime. That's.
Not necessarily shovels in the ground.
No.
Okay,
Because they have to do a detailed design of the phase one of the plan right now. That's the
Right.
next goal.
all right.
It probably won't be till next year.
I think that they could start in the fall if everything goes right, but I don't. Yeah. Not familiar with local government projects. Yes, I think because of all the state, county, all the requirements that are on municipalities, it's difficult.